Hello, everyone.
What's going on?
And we're back. Let me see. We're live. Good. Hello, everybody.
We would like to welcome everyone to another Marriage Monday on Tuesday.
Marriage Tuesday. Talk Tuesday. Testimony Tuesday.
Yeah, marriage is real in the building. I'm Damien.
And I'm Jamie, and we are Marriage is Real. So yeah, we're gonna wait for a few people to come in. How's everybody's week been going so far? So far, so good. Hopefully, it's just Tuesday, but I mean, a lot can happen in 2 days.
Yeah. A lot can happen within 2 days, that's for sure. We hope everybody had a great weekend. We hope that everyone is doing well, your family as well. Everybody is healthy and things are going the way that you want them to go in the first first month of the year.
I mean, like staying healthy, all that good stuff. So
6 days away from February.
Yeah, we talked about that last week. This month is flying by.
Man.
So, what's happening in the in current events? No, I'm just playing, because I never know. So I'm not the person to ask.
I'm the one that keeps her abreast of all of the current events.
So what happened now? And my kids, of course. So.
So where's everybody checking in from so far? I see we got a thumbs up, and we'll wait maybe about another minute or so before we start getting into the continuation of last week. If you weren't here last week, we talked about core needs in marriage.
Yes.
And so we had such a great, overwhelming response to that. We're just going to jump right back into that this week and just kind of talk about that. And
I'm probably sure I can hear this fan, but I'm hot. Shoot, dang, the Lord is blessing me with this with years, but I ain't complaining. I'm sorry, what would you say?
I forgot. No, we're just gonna we'll probably just hit on the points of what we talked about last week and then move on to the next one. Then I think both of us probably prepared some additional information about core needs in marriage and stuff like that. So yeah.
Okay, so we can just I'm gonna just recap from what we had last week, and we just talked about core needs, of course, of a man and a woman. I talked about the core needs of a woman, which were there were 4 that I came up with or that I researched on, and I totally agree with. Security is one of the first one, the top core need for a woman. Is security. The second one is non-sexual touch. So, self-explanatory. The third one is communication. And the fourth one is leadership. So we talked a lot about security and non-sexual touch last week. So this week we'll touch a little bit more on the communication and leadership. So, cool. And did you want to go and
And I think I just hit about 2 last week, right?
How many did you have?
I had 4.
Okay, so but you talked about, you said what it was, friendship. It was the last 3.
No, the first 2.
Right.
Yeah. So the first one was respect, and the second one was sex.
Okay. And then what was the next?
The next 2 was friendship and support at home.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I'll just get right into it, because the one of the things that I will say that I feel like is super important when it talks about communication. Ooh, y'all, I'm sorry, but it's a glare on my glasses, but these my noddles. So anyway, I'll say this: don't confuse your needs with your wants, with your desires. Don't think that just because you want something is that's exactly what you need, because that's not necessarily what it is. Because you could be wanting something, or you could be needing something, but in the way that you want them to give it to you could be just your preference. They could actually be giving you something that you need, but you just aren't happy with the way that they're doing it, if that makes sense.
What, what does that mean? How
What do
can
you
you?
mean? Like, okay, so if I want you to be more communicative to me or converse with me more,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, he don't never talk to me. He don't never, whatever. And it's like we do talk, but I want you to talk to me in a certain way. I want you to like, okay, so damn, okay, baby, on Tuesday night at 8 o'clock, I'm gonna talk to you from 8 to 10. But I negate the fact that we talk all day long. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? We could talk, we could have small conversations, every hour, or we could talk, on our lunch hour or we take our lunch for an hour. We talk and we have a hearty conversation for a whole hour.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, that's not enough. So I could be saying, okay, well, my needs aren't being met because of the way that I want you to meet them.
So could it also be that like you're wanting me to talk to you like one of your girlfriends?
I mean, yeah, because that could be the preference. That could be my preference is that I want you to talk. That's what I was saying. Like,
Mm-hmm.
don't confuse what you want with with something that you actually need. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so do you want to go back and forth, or do you just want to go like I
You
was doing?
like you did last week. It's
Oh
fine.
no, why you want to do it like
That's how you did.
that? Okay. Well, it don't matter. It don't matter. So another thing that I'll say too when it comes to, core needs, be careful not to fall into a false identity of yourself. And when I say that, it's like a lot of times we write a story for ourselves. Like if I say, oh, I'm a strong person, I don't need nobody. So then you start to act that out and you don't realize what you're doing is pushing people away.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not even allowing someone to give you what you need based on the story that you've written for yourself, if that makes
Right.
sense.
Yeah.
So
Because we as men, we're very, if this is what you say it is, we take you at your word.
exactly.
So if you're telling me you're strong and you don't need me, then I'm gonna meet you at the place of that need and say, okay, well, you said you don't need me in this particular
Right.
area.
Right.
So then when I start acting on what you asked me to do, you can't be mad at me because I'm doing what you said you wanted me to do in the first place.
Exactly. So that's true. Okay.
So then, one of the things I was talking about last week was friendship. And something about us, we love our women, our wives being our friends.
Mm-hmm.
Friendship is a very big thing in the male world. We bond as friends and everything like that. And it's not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily like we want you to come outside and play football with us or anything like that.
Right.
But it's more of a like referenced in the book Love and Respect by
Mm-hmm.
Emerson Eggers, shoulder to shoulder. Like if
Right.
I'm outside, like I always am doing something. I'm always outside in the garage or
Right.
hanging something or doing something. And sometimes I just like for her to come outside and just sit with me while I do it. It's be like, what's that? Oh, you want to know what that is? Oh, that's a carburetor.
And this was hard for me because I'm like, why I want to be out here? I could be in the house doing something totally different. But
or you don't like the elements, it's too hot,
yeah, absolutely.
it's too cold. Like this.
Absolutely.
Yesterday I was putting some LED headlights in her car. And she ain't even come out there and say, "Ooh, that's cool." Well, she wasn't here, so I give you a pass on that.
I said it was cool when they was in there and I was driving. Oh, they look good from the driver's
But
seat.
yeah, that's something that I've always, and I never knew how to articulate that.
Mm-hmm.
That I like that. I like, if I was doing a tune up on my car or something like that, that she would come outside and be like, "Okay, show me what you're doing. What's these little things right here? Oh, baby, I'm glad you asked. That's a spark plug. And you need this. You got to put the grease on the spark plug. So next time when you do it and get ready to do your next tune up, you put it's anti-seize.
No next tune up. It ain't gonna be next tune up for me.
I'm just happy that you asked me
okay.
about what those little silver things are.
Okay, that's great.
She didn't do that, but I'm just giving you an example.
And I think to that point to what you're saying, sometimes that can make somebody feel. I guess for me, I'll speak for me. For a woman, it's fake. Like that'll make you feel fake. Like what am I asking you? I don't really care. Like to be honest, like okay, if you want me to sit out here, I can sit out here. I might be scrolling on my phone or reading a book or doing some other stuff, but I mean I'll be here. But are you saying that in men wanting friendship, you're wanting us to be how you want us to be. I don't understand, because you gotta break it down for us. You know what I'm saying? Because we do friendship differently than y'all do friendship.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
So how does a woman? And by the way, guys, thank you for everybody that's tuning in. We hadn't clicked on my friend over here ain't clicked on. She's supposed to be handling the comments. She ain't handling nothing.
We handling. I ain't got there yet.
You forgot.
No, I
yes, you did.
He needs to get with the
What's
program.
up? Hold on real quick. Let me just speak to everybody. Dawkins, Palante, Ben, Bob Smith, thank you for joining us. Christy Ricard, thank you for you already subscribed. Okay, thank you so much for tuning in with us tonight.
Hey, Bob Smith. Good evening. Good evening. Hey, Ben. How are you? Ben says, hey, Doc. How are you? Oh, I see Palante joined us. Hey, Palante. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you.
So let me ask you this. So what is it for a woman? What is friendship? What does friendship look like for y'all?
It don't look like us asking about no spark plugs.
What I mean is it like braiding hair and twerking?
No, we now
everywhere you look now, it's everybody twerking. It's just I'm like, that's our women get together and they drink mimosas and twerk.
Well,
that's
depending
friendship.
on your friend, you all gonna twerk. I'm just saying, depending on what y'all do. Because we usually when women get together, we have a good time. Like we just clown, especially if it's like one of your good friends. You have a good time. You just clown, but it's not in the friendship like what y'all like what you saying. Like that ain't.
So what is it?
It's a good time, and me and us, for me coming out and saying, you doing this tune up. That ain't a good time. That's just me. Like,
so friendship in the woman world is just having a good time.
We have a good time. We have we connect. We have deep conversations. We talk. We give a lot of information, fellas. Just so you know,
7 times. That's what the statistics say. 7 times more. We
talk about menstrual cycles. We talk about sex. We talk about breath. I mean, really, depending on who the friend is, it ain't really much that's off topic or off limits. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, like when we do friendship, it's different. I guess it depends on your spouse as well, your mate too. Like, what type of relationship do y'all have? Do y'all do friends? Do y'all do that kind of stuff? Because you might have your husband might not want to dance and be silly and do the things,
right?
You know what I'm saying? So that's why communication is the key. That's why communication is another core need for women.
Indeed. Your turn.
Oh, it's my turn now. Yeah. You done with your friendship stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll say this too. God has hardwired us all to want connection. It ain't just women, you know what I'm saying? It's men too, it's everybody. So in us all individually needing that connection, we need community. So in community, there's communion, which is a shared experiences, shared intimate thoughts, and in all of that, what is it? A derivative of communion or it's communication. So all of that is wrapped up in communication, which is one of the things that women need. Is open and honest communication. Be patient when y'all are having a conversation, and it may not be like how we have fun with our homegirls. We may talk, but I may not. It's a different energy when it's your husband versus when it's your friend. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes, like we talked about before, men can be very dismissive when you're trying to communicate and tell him about your something that it may be bothering you, or something you want to get his take on, or you're telling someone, or you're telling him basically how you feel about something and wanting their input. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times it's like, yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, and that's not communication. Communication is listening with comprehension to respond.
For us to solve your problem.
Nope.
I said that on purpose.
I know you did.
Go down there. What's going on? Oh, what's going on, Ben and Irene? Oh, y'all doing okay?
Hello, hey Ben and Irene. Good evening.
Look at what Doc said.
So our friendships are productive and theirs aren't. A lot of times it ain't. Sometimes it ain't production. It's friendship. That's my friend. Yes, communication is key in marriage, Ben. Ben and Irene said. Okay, so I'm sorry, what was we talking about?
You talking about communication?
Yeah. What was I saying? You don't
I
remember.
just asked you a question.
What did you say?
I said, so what did I
See,
say?
you don't know. Let me go back to my notes. Okay, like I said, listening for comprehension, not just to say you're listening, but listen for comprehension so that you can respond.
Oh, I know what I said.
And then you can ask questions on the other side of that too. Like, okay, so what I'm hearing you say is, so that she knows that this is a genuine place, an open space for us to communicate. Because when you have communion with someone, and it's an open space where you feel safe and you feel like we're having a genuine conversation, then
who determines if it's genuine?
You do. The person who's wanting,
the one who's wanting the conversation.
You can, and plus you can tell the energy. You can feel the tone of it. If somebody's really listening to you, if they're just listening so you can get finished talking. Mm-hmm. That's a whole other thing.
And we have a tendency of doing that, right?
Some men do. I ain't gonna say all of y'all, but some men do. So do you think that y'all have a tendency of doing that?
Sometimes.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
You speaking for the fellas. I'm speaking for the women.
I'm not saying all men, but I know some do.
Okay. Well, anyway, and I'll say this too. Like I talk about all the time, women we love compliments, but
you fine,
genuine,
you genuinely
authentic
fine.
Compliments. Though you ain't just saying the same thing. Girl, you fine. Okay.
What if that's my truth though?
I mean, it could be your truth.
Yeah.
But
your hair is curly.
That ain't no compliment. That's just the truth. It's curly.
Oh.
I mean, so it's like if you're saying, I admire you, or I feel like you're a capable person. You can say those things, but why? Because then you guys always say, why she always asking me why? Because we want to know why. You can't just say, oh, I think you good. Why you think I'm good? Based on what? Because it's subjective. I may need to hear that because it could be something that you dealing with. I'm dealing with personally, and that's another security type of thing where it's like he really makes me feel safe. He really makes me feel like he genuinely wants to be with me, and he genuinely loves these things about me, and it just ain't talk because most of the time. Women are used to dealing with guys that's just saying words that don't mean nothing. Oh, girl.
So should they automatically carry weight though if it's your husband?
No, it shouldn't. Why would it automatically carry weight?
Because I'm your husband.
If you don't feel like
because I put a ring on you,
that doesn't mean anything. Because remember, you told me you wanted to marry me because you don't want nobody else to have me. That's not no reason to want to marry nobody. Well, then I don't want to marry you then.
I said it though.
He did. And such confidence. I was like,
hey, if you're going to say it, you might as well believe it.
Think that that's a compliment? Because it's not. So, yeah.
But keep in mind, I was like 19 when I said it.
You still said it. Shoot. And you stood by that too for a long time.
10 toes flat.
That ain't why you want that. That's not a good reason to want to marry nobody. Because you don't want nobody else to have them. Gone on. Poor little tink. Gone on. Go ahead.
So another Courtney from the EXO marriage stuff. Wow.
Sorry,
there
y'all.
You go.
We have a doorbell.
That's what happens when you're doing live from home. You never know.
These kids probably gonna order some food or something.
They order some food and everything. So we'll just keep it rocking and rolling. So support at home. Men love coming home to a house that is a home. Ain't that what Luther said that, right? No, he said a house is not a home.
Oh.
Unless two of us are there. Something like that. But anyway, so it really does us good to know that we're coming home to a peaceful environment. There's something about when a woman puts her womanliness,
her stamp of womanness,
on the crib. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because like she used to laugh at me when I moved into my first apartment. She came over. And I had a roommate at the time, and so we had this big picture. Was it a car or a panther?
I think it was a panther.
We had a panther over our mantle, and it had bullets on both sides of the picture. I don't really know how they ended up there, but
what these bullets mean? They were just sitting right there.
They were just sitting on the end. It was a black velvet paint of a panther, and it had bullets on both sides.
Oh
But
Lord
hey,
Jesus, that was
it was
funny to
good
me.
times.
I guess so.
And but it didn't have that same feeling that it did once we had our, once we moved out and got our own house and everything like that. And we're not our first house, but our apartment.
Right, right.
And it was great. I mean, she started putting we I didn't know what a ficus tree was. She put a ficus tree in our dining room, and it started smelling like flowers. And I had
Potpourri.
potpourri and bedspreads and
Bedspread.
sheets and
You done took it back with the bedspread. Now it's a comforter or a
comforter.
duvet.
Okay, there you go. So, but that is something that we appreciate. But let me say this too, ladies, in us, in our, making our house a home. When we come home and we've been out there, doing what we do to take care of you and the family, give us a little time to unwind when we get home. Don't, as soon as we walk in the door, you know, take the baby, do this. I need you to do this, that, and the third. It's like you might have been sitting in traffic for 2 hours, and you might just need maybe 30 minutes or something and some decompression time, because you might be a little bit wound tight. You know what I'm saying? So give us 30 minutes, a little time for us to just get clocked out there so we can clock back in at home. So just, give us a little time. I call it cave time, just a little cave time, where it's, what I usually do is when I get home from work, it was pre-COVID, of course, but I come home from work and I would just go in the room and just scroll on my phone or play solitaire or do something like that. It's just a little time so that after I've refreshed for a couple of minutes, now I can come in and give you the attention, the active listening, and the communication that you were talking about earlier. See, I do be listening to you. At the communication that you were talking about that you needed earlier, but I can give myself to you in the way that you would like for me to.
But then too, don't misunderstand. Like when it's like, don't just come in the house and just go to the room. You don't greet nobody. You don't say, hey, hello,
that's
kiss.
customary though.
But I'm just saying, you're talking to you're saying this to people. So it's like they may think, oh well, Marriage Real said I just need to go to the room. You know what I'm saying? I don't even need to say nothing.
Well, I didn't, but I'm just saying, typically when people come in the house, they be like, hey, y'all doing?
No, that's not. I mean, it should be. But typically,
in most cases,
I'm just saying that there are some cases where people don't do that, is what I'm saying.
Well, make sure before you go to the back, you say hi.
Don't just walk up in the house and just don't say no words. You're laughing, but just listen. Women talk about everything is what I'm saying. So when I'm saying what I'm saying, this ain't what I heard. It's what I heard, but it's because people have told me this and they ain't got no reason to lie. You know what I'm saying? Like your husband just came in the house and just came through the garage and just went on in there and didn't say no words. Like if I wouldn't have saw you, I wouldn't have even known you was at home. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. We know people who they have lived in the same house and not said words to each other for 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying? So that's not uncommon. So I'm just saying.
But they probably said hey when they walked in.
Boy, whatever.
So yeah.
Anywho, so Ivan said, yay, put that womanliness on all. What is that? All on me and my career. So crazy. Hey Kim,
what's going on?
Sis? Thank you for joining us. And so so y'all just say hey when you come in the house. So then my last point for core needs for a woman is leadership. Loving leadership. And it's not domination. It ain't control. It's lovingly leading your spouse. And a lot of times you can lead your spouse by example. I've heard it said that, what is it? Manhood is sacrificial servanthood. And I was like, ooh, I don't want to be no man. I'm just playing. But I'm just saying, like,
that makes two of us.
But you don't want to be no man?
I don't want you to be no man.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna say, wait a minute, hold on now. But so it's sacrificial servanthood. So, we've always learned, and I'm sure you guys have heard too, to lead, what do you have to do first? You have to serve. So you can't just come in thinking you finna rule with an iron fist and she just gonna do. No, that's not how you lead anyone, it's with a gentleness, it's a kindness. And we get into the whole submission thing. That's a whole other beast, because sometimes people hear that word submission and they like,
we're gonna talk about submission.
They don't want to hear about no submit. But anyway, but it's a loving leadership where you're just initiating resolution. Like if and I'm not saying try to solve every problem, because everything, we're not always talking and sharing with you for you to solve the problem. It may just be a venting session. We might just be going off because Curl at work that made us mad, and she thinks she's such and such, so she gonna tell me my potato salad was too eggy or whatever whatever it is. And then you will say, well, stop taking potato salad. Like, don't know. Sometimes it's just venting, but then there are other issues. And like we say, being a steward and a student of your spouse, knowing when something is really bothering her, knowing when, and you can even ask, is this, do you want my opinion, or is it something that you want me to help you, do? So, taking that initiative to help her resolve an issue is sexy. I'm just saying it is, versus you just like, you get that worked out. Did you go get your tires? Did you go get your tires rotated? Like, dang, it's like that. But I'm making light of this, but these are stories that I have heard. So it's like, it's even in the small things. Like I said, dang, that car, somebody speeding down the street. So I'm just saying, like, even in the small things, just initiating resolution. Just be resolution minded about a lot of stuff. It's not like, and a lot of times women, like we talked about before, in the Bible it talks about wisdom is her. It refers to wisdom as her. So women, sometimes we are thinkers, and we may be able to add a little sauce to the chicken because it was dry, because that's just the way that we think. But we still need y'all. We still need that, because sometimes, like, for instance, when it was flooding this one year, it was flooding. This lady was in her car. I saw this on the thing.
Oh, okay.
This lady was in her car, and the water was rising and rising. And she called her husband and said, "What do I do, ma'am?" In my mind, I'm like, "Well, I have called you and said, what do I do?" But he said, "Baby, get out the truck and climb on top of the car." And it's like something so simple like that. Like, you would have thought to do that, but I don't know. Sometimes it's like, let me call him and see what you think I should do. And that's a funny example. But sometimes, even though, and I know sometimes, guys, y'all can feel like, and women, we can make them feel like this too. We got it all figured out. Like, he used to always say, "You don't need me. You don't need me." It's just because I'm the type of person, I'm a go-getter. I'm just gonna, if I need it to get done, I'm gonna do it. And then if I would run up against a roadblock or something, I'm like, okay, well, can you help me with this? But for him, he felt like, because I was always getting it done, I didn't need him. But when you come from a background of knowing that you got to get it done, that's just what you do. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that's that loving leadership. Also, another thing is, do you lead yourself? Because this is one thing that I was even telling my son. Don't be, what's the word when you contradictory, and they be calling the people in the church, they say you are a hypocrite. Don't be a hypocrite. Like, you done said, I don't like this and I don't like that, and I don't want you to do this, and I don't like when this happens to me, or you're upset about a thing, and you just it's just your pet peeve. You just get indignant about it. But then you do that same thing. So when that happens, it's like, okay, you're a hypocrite, and you just a walking contradiction. So that starts to chip away at how she views you. And there is a loss of respect there, because it's like, you saying all this stuff, but you ain't even do it. Do you pray? You know what I'm saying? You want me to exercise and lose weight? Are you exercising and losing weight? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just saying, like, be the example, so that when it comes time for you to lead, there's not such a pushback against it. It's just like when you work at a job. A lot of times we have these supervisors that don't know nothing, and they don't do nothing. And then you want to try to tell me what I need to do and how I need to do it. I'm like, but ma'am and sirs, I'm gonna need you to do that same thing that you're asking me. So it's kind of the same thing in a relationship. Just be the example. So I mean, in the leadership part, I mean, that'll just come. I mean, you know, her let me see, her following you and your leadership style, that will come if there's a respect there. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying?
I think we got a question right there.
Okay,
From
so
Palante.
let's see. Hey, Palante. With submission, should both spouses submit one to another and not just the woman submitting to the husband?
Man, you already going into our next stuff.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So let me say
Absolutely.
this. Let me address that. So it depends. And the reason I say why can I finish my point?
Okay, let's go.
Gosh.
Don't finish the point.
The only reason that I'm saying that is because from my understanding, what I know, submission is a biblical principle. Everybody don't follow the Bible. That's the only reason I say that. Now, having said that, why you looking?
But
like
that's still to his question though.
I'm saying it depends. It depends. Number one, it depends on if that is the way that you guys do what you do.
Okay.
From a biblical standpoint.
Y'all see me, I'm listening real hard. I'm okay.
She just always, why you all edgy?
Baby, just go ahead. And I'm trying to see where you at with this.
So,
because our core values ain't lining up right now.
You're not supposed to see she doing what she be telling me not to do. She jumping to conclusions. She ain't even let me finish my point yet. Now, if I may.
Okay, go make.
Thank you.
You may.
So, but see, when y'all out here, when people are out here listening to all of this stuff online and social media and all these relationship gurus and all that, you better know who you're listening to and what their intent is, what they're trying to get across, because there's a lot of people that are trolling. There are a lot of people that's just
for clickbait,
clickbait and things of that nature. And some of these people that everybody is listening to come from a church or biblical background, but they're still peddling to the masses. So that's my disclaimer.
Right.
So to answer your question, Palante, yes, because everybody goes to that verse. I think it's in Ephesians 5 or 6, and they always go to the second verse. The first verse says, submit to one another. That's the first thing it says in that chapter. So the answer to that question is yes.
It's yes, but you said no.
Huh? I said it depends. But
the answer should be yes. So why would it depend?
It depends on if you follow the Bible, because everybody that's listening to us may not.
So even if you don't follow the Bible, then you still
it would depend on what your value system is what I'm saying. But for us, the answer would be yes. I don't know why you that,
David, because I'm saying even if you don't follow the Bible,
if I'm an atheist, right, and I'm listening to this, I may not go along with that. So
I understand what you're
that's
saying.
The point that I'm making,
right? But I'm just saying, in answering his question,
it depends.
So it depends on if both people should submit one to another. It depends on what they believe,
right? Because they may not be their core value system.
Okay,
but
see, this is how I tell y'all, you can have a difference of opinion in marriage, because I don't think it matters what your style is. It should be that you submit one to another.
I just think it depends, because everybody different religions and stuff like that, they may not subscribe to that ideology.
But that's we ain't talking about different religions. We talking about the question.
The question was, should you? And I said it depends based on what you believe.
Okay.
Thank you. So, but to answer the question, yes. When you are going into the whole submission thing, it says submit one to another. After that, it then says, wives, submit unto your husbands. ... There.
Okay.
So
and Kim says most definitely. Dog said, relax, Jamie. I'm sorry. I'm just like. He also said, let him finish. Hey, Dr. Selena, how are you? And the Bible says, wives, submit yourselves to your own husband.
Yep.
Absolutely. Hi, Sean Clinton. How are you? Thanks for joining us. Peace and respect, family. Thank you so much.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
So
Yeah. So what was yeah, you were saying
so
something about.
I was about to say something else about the support at home.
Okay.
Something that as men that we have to remember as well is that we have to do our equal share at home.
That's
Not
good.
leaving everything
That's real
to
good.
the wives. Like, okay, I done brought the bacon home. Now I'm not doing anything else the rest of the night. I ain't doing nothing else. Pass me my beer. Pass me my Topo Chico. I'm not washing no. I ain't washing no kids. I ain't bathing no dishes. I said that on purpose. You know what I'm saying? You have to help at home too. And then just remember, when you get home, your job is just starting and it's not ending. It's like, you don't just, okay, I've been at work all day now. I don't have to come home and pitch in and help out, because the thing you have to remember is that this is a partnership.
Right. Right. So Dawkins says women say it depends to that question all the time. If he's being led by God, etc., etc. So yeah, I mean they do. They say it depends, but the question then I guess they're gonna say then they're just gonna submit to him and he don't have to submit to her. So I mean, to each his and her own. And then Dr. Selena says, however, there are arenas in which wives lead based on knowledge and husbands allow them, but there is still submitting in the fact that the husbands are allowing them to lead, if that makes sense. Yes.
I agree 100%.
Yes.
Because if she's stronger in the area, just because I'm the head, it's my responsibility to consult her about what she thinks and feels about that situation. She might just know more about it than I do. And it would be ignorant, and it wouldn't be prudent for me to not listen to her in something that she's stronger in than I am, just because I'm the head, because I'm the husband. That's right. That would be ridiculous.
Right. In certain, like you said, in certain arenas, right? But just the overall picture of it, I think about excuse me, how do you decipher between, what I guess it depends on each, of course, each individual relationship, but yeah, that's what it is. It just depends on each individual relationship, because it's subjective as to which arena you may feel like is the man's thing, and what I feel like should be the man's thing. Like, I guess, like for instance, bills. Some women handle the bills because the men, the man is, less prudent with the monies, if you will. And then Dawkins said, but the truth of the matter is, if he or she is spouse worthy, they are submission worthy. Preach, brother.
That's a good point.
I like it. Preach. Point. I like that.
I can't disagree with you at all.
Not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. So, were you finished with your point?
Yeah, I was just saying, pitch in and help out.
Oh yeah, that
don't
is
be
what
no
you
sucker.
Saying. Don't be no sucker MC. Yes, because that's paramount. That's because we always tell y'all from what we dealt with in the beginning, and it's just that a lot of times we weren't. This wasn't marriage. Wasn't modeled for us. A thriving, successful, harmonious marriage wasn't modeled for us. So you're basically just reenacting what you saw. You know what I'm saying? We were just sponges. So you saw your mama, cook, clean, go to work, do everything, and your daddy just got a chance to come home and
put his feet up,
drink a beer and put his feet up, and then that was it. Nothing was really asked of him. So then, as women, or as when you become a wife, you will have the tendency to adopt that same philosophy, and you realize you are like miserable. And sometimes men are just yeah, go ahead, do what you do. So let's see, here we go.
That was the same question.
That was the same one.
There we go.
Derek.
My bad. What's up, Derek?
You can go ahead and read it, baby.
Okay. We hear I'm kidding. We hear submission and hear subservient or subject slave. Submission is about who God is going to hold responsible. Preach, yes. Sir. Submission is about authority, structure, rather than knowledge and gifting.
That's great.
I agree with that 1,000%.
Hallelujah.
Yeah. And I'd like to even add to that I feel like as men, we should be the examples of what submission is. As we submit to God, we provide what submission looks like and following God, and then we mirror. I mean, we model what we want to take place by
Exactly.
showing how to submit as we submit to God, and
Exactly.
then it just trickles down from there.
And Doc and Selena said facts, Doc. So yeah, in that, like you said, in that modeling from the submission of God, that's all wrapped up in the umbrella of leadership.
Right.
And that's and to me, I feel like if God is saying this is what I've put in you to desire, then he's put it in you guys, and vice versa. He's put it in us. He's put it in us to give it. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times you feel like a guy could feel like I ain't doing all that. I'm not the one. I'm not supposed to be, leading you and
right. And you hear
healing you and helping you. And I'm like,
and the thing is that you hear it so much because we consume a lot of relationship content, and the thing and the buzzword right now is submission. But like I said, there are so many people that are talking about submission, but it's like y'all don't even know what submission means. Right. You don't know that it talks about submitting to one another first. Then it starts talking about that. Right. You don't know about loving your wife as Christ loved the church. The earnest and a lot of the responsibility of leadership comes with the man first. Right. I'm old school when it comes to man accountability and the things that we're supposed to do and the way that we're supposed to be handling things, because ultimately God is going to look at us about how we handle things as the leader. Right. One of the, and I'm kind of going off on a tangent, but one of the things that I look at is if you looked at your marriage as a company and you're the CEO of this business, if I'm the CEO and you're the senior manager, when you go before the board of directors, you can't point the finger and blame, well, the senior manager didn't do that. No, just like everybody was angry about what Donald Trump did, and he always tried to pass the buck to everybody else. But bro, you the leader. Right. So you got to take that on the chin. If you're the leader, and you can't want to be the leader when it's good and when it's easy, you have to want to take all of that responsibility in the good times and in the bad times. Right. So if there were some issues or anything like that, you're still the one that's going to be held accountable, just like Adam and Eve. God was like, bro, I told you that. Right. You know what I'm saying? So you can't get away from that. So don't try to put, oh, the woman ain't doing this. Sometimes, good number of times, it may be something that you may not be doing or something that you may be lacking. Right, right. And I was as a leader. And I was trying to think of that scripture that we talked about where it says, God has given, men this charge, of course, to love your wife as Christ loved the church and all of those things. But then it also goes on to say something about not resenting her for the instructions and the charge that he's given you, that he's given a man. And sometimes I think, especially with all of the, like you said, all of the buzzwords and everything that's going on social media today, you hear a lot about, what the man is allowed, for lack of a better term, to do. And she's just supposed to fall in line, as Derek Smith stated about being subservient and being a slave. So when you hear submission, you think about that's what a lot of people think of it. They think of it as a negative thing. It just has a negative connotation attached to it when it shouldn't be that at all. You know what I'm saying? It should be it should be, to me, submission. If depending on who it is, cause submission is basically just giving up your will on some things, So depending on who it is, we don't have a problem submitting to them. Yeah, because you go to work and submit every day. Because half the stuff you want to do that they ask you to do at work, you don't want to do. Your will. You are. You know what I'm saying? You can't eat at your desk. What you gonna do? You can't sit up and watch Netflix legally all day. I mean, and we're making, trying to use very plain terms and examples, but in essence, that's what it is. You're giving up your will on some things, and depending on what it is and who it is and where it is, and you don't have a problem doing it. It's just like for some reason in marriage, it just seems like this. But again, I think it goes back to what we've seen, because we didn't have marriage models for us in a healthy, productive way. So in our mind,
I know for me, I used to think of submission like that. You cooking, you cleaning, you
And you shut up.
and you washing
That's
drawers,
what
and he
that's
do
what it
whatever
was
he
back
want to
in the
do. And
day.
it's like, I ain't, because I was the first one to say submission. Don't even come to me talking about no submission.
And let's stick a pin in that so we don't go too far off.
I mean,
Because
but it goes with leadership though. I
yeah,
mean, that's all that it all, fits into the core needs of a woman as far as her needing leadership.
gotcha.
So, and I know like a lot of women may not necessarily hop on that train about feeling like they want to be led or they need to be led, but leadership to me is synonymous to me sometimes with confidence and authority. Like some of these guys you see and you're like, what is the thing that's drawing these women to this guy? Because it's not like necessarily his looks, but it's in a woman's mind what that represents to her. Confidence, leadership, that all, equates security and authority and all of those things. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So dang, I lost my train of thought. What was I saying? It was a point I was gonna make.
Good looks. Leadership, authority.
Leadership. Yeah. So it all goes back to you instinctually wanting to be led. You know what I'm saying? So anyway.
So
I digress.
let me move on to a couple of things that I had here.
Okay,
let's hold off on the questions.
You want to hold off?
Yes.
Well, no, it's no questions. These are comments.
No, they're questions. I already read them.
Baby, okay. We're gonna go ahead, y'all.
Thank you.
Marriage is real.
So back to what we were originally talking about the core needs. I wanted to ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that core needs can change as you get older?
I don't think that they change. I think that you just become more aware of what they are. You know what I'm saying? Because I think when you're younger, because I know for me, I said, I don't need this and I don't need that, and you don't got to do this and you ain't got to do that, because in my mind, and it may not have just be that it was my age, but it was my mentality. I hadn't matured to the point to know you do need that, because I even hear some young wives saying that now, not even just young in age, but young in their relationship and young in their mind of things that they don't need. Well, I don't care if you don't do this, and that don't make me, I don't care about that. And it's like, I just don't think that you've gotten there yet to recognize that you do need that is a core need for you. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if they necessarily change. I just think that you become more aware of what you need.
Okay. And the reason that I was asking about that is because I wanted to kind of real quick talk about some of the things I've begun to think about now that I have crossed over in age.
So do you think that? So you don't answer your own question.
I think to a degree some things probably do change. And the reason I'm saying that is because so one of the things that I think about is like, like last week we talked about sex being a core need. I don't know if when you are, and this is me speaking truly out of ignorance, but me, thinking I'm 65, 70 years old, if your sex drive is the same. Right. Or 60. And it could be, you might be popping blue pills or whatever, but I'm just saying, I feel like there could be some things that while those other things are still important, it may not be top tier as they were early on. You see what I'm saying? Like if I'm 20, I'm like a rabbit. I'm trying to get it in as much as possible. But if I'm 59, some men may have had some medical issues, or they may not be able to perform sexually, or things like that. Start kind of trying to put myself in other people's minds and positions and think like, because I talk to guys that are older than me, and some of the things that are important to me, they don't seem, it's not, it's still important, but it's not as top tier as it was when you were younger.
But I think that goes back to a preference though, and not necessarily a core need. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like even if your sex drive is not as high and as, crazy as it was in your 20s, whatever level you are, would you still need it though?
Even yeah, but I don't know if it would be as much of a need as some other things as you get older. And again, I'm not saying this is, right or wrong. It's just kind of something that I was just kind of brainstorming and thinking about. So I wrote down a couple of things that just kind of I could see as you get older. And it's something we can just talk about, but just,
Mm-hmm.
some things that I thought about that maybe become more important the older you get. The first one was companionship.
Mm-hmm.
you know um how important is companionship the older you get. We were watching the movie Made in Italy the other day,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a couple on there that they were probably 70, 80 years old, and it was funny was that they did have sex after they got married.
Right.
But to me, what I saw from that relationship more than anything was the companionship. They were
Right.
friends. They had been friends for over 50 years. And so it seemed as though just them being together and being around each other, um, it seemed as though it really it played a very big part in them even wanting to decide that they were going to get married.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. And so like even when I talk about like with her and I, one of the things that I always say to her all the time is like, if I'm going to pick up food or something like that, I always like for her to ride with me. Like, she ain't gonna do nothing but just sit in the car. But for me, the companionship and the connection that comes with that, I could see as you get older that could be something that could become more important as you get older. It's like I want you to be around me
Well,
more and more.
but I think that too could be, that could all be, grouped or categorized with your love language, because one of your love languages is quality time.
Hmm.
So that could be, and I think it's different for every person,
Sure.
that you want me to ride with you, or sit outside, like we talked about friendship and things like that. I think
Hmm.
that also too has to do with, like I said, love language is just that being uh, uh, a preference for you. You know what I'm saying? But would that be
Hmm.
a core need for your relationship?
Could be.
I guess it. I mean, like I
Like
said,
I
it's
said, I'm
it's
not saying
subject.
this
It's
is the
subjective.
definitive, but I'm just saying I think about it when
Dr.
I
Selena, what you think?
it's just something I thought about. Then I thought about reassurance. I think as men get older, they start to need more reassurance. I feel
Hmm.
like that could become a core need. Um, you know, do I still do it for you? You know what I'm saying? It's like, how what were you
I
gonna
was
say?
just gonna say, but and see, there's a difference to me between um and individual needs, because there are needs that we all need as an individual,
Mm-hmm.
but then it's a group, it's a parallel, or it's a category. Okay, individuals need this,
Mm-hmm.
but then in the relationship, the woman also needs this and the man also needs this, but
Mm-hmm.
we both still need identity, we need purpose, we need connection, we need
Mm-hmm.
companionship.
But I think early on in as a man, your focus is a little more ambitious. It's a little more driven into stacking and doing and things of that nature.
What do you mean stacking and doing, like,
Stacking your
so
bread, you
so
trying to get it.
so you would think that you don't need those things?
It's not, but I'm saying it's not saying that you would need it. I'm just saying I think it will become more important to you. It could this thing could still be there, but
Hmm.
you might have had 10, and then it might have been, these things may have been top three. While they're still important,
Hmm.
they may move down on the list, and these other things, as you continue to grow and you get older,
But
these
okay,
things
so
might
then did
be.
they change, or did they
No,
just?
they were all on the list, but it could fluctuate or change.
But I just said that, did it change, and you said no.
No, I'm saying in the order. Like,
Right, no, I'm
it's still
saying
these are. I'm not. This is what I'm saying. I'm not taking away from any of the other needs.
right.
I'm just saying that there still be needs, but there might be some other things that might become more important as you get older.
Okay, I hear you, I hear what you're saying, I hear what you're saying.
And then, oh, go ahead. You can go ahead.
Let me see. Palante said, "Pass the collection plate, sir." And Dawkins says, uh, "He that is chief among you, let him serve. I do laundry, cook dishes, and spank that ass." I can't stand it. Derek said, "The church is the bride of Christ, right? Does Jesus submit to the church? What would that look like?" That's great. That's great. And hey, the center, you said what time do we start streaming? We start streaming at 8:30, and it is every Tuesday. Yes. So we've moved from Marriage Monday to
Marriage
Tuesday.
Monday on Tuesday.
And then Dawkins says, Damon, I think you're all over it, sir. I totally agree.
Thank you, Dawkins.
And I think, I don't know what that is. That might have been an accident.
Look like it's from somebody from Russia.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then let's see. Derek Smith said, according to Marlowe's hierarchy of needs, the needs change as you progress through life. If there's not a progression, that could be a problem.
That's good.
That's really good. And that makes me think about when we talk about ages and stages of life. Mm-hmm. There are ages and stages, I guess, that you go through in your marriage as well, that those needs could definitely change for you. So I get with it. I
had one more. I'm gonna just say it. The last one was kindness.
Maslow's hierarchy. Okay.
Kindness. I could see as you get older that kindness will be even more important. Mm-hmm. And the reason I say that, as a man, you might want to feel like you need more understanding, more grace as we transition into new stages of life. More room to be vulnerable as we get older. Our mortality and legacy become more important as we change. We want to be celebrated and not as criticized. Mm-hmm. So I could see, because after you've gotten older, you feel like, look, I didn't put my work in. You know what I'm saying? And it's like you young whippersnapper. You know, when you was 10 years old, don't be calling me no Chuck. Chuck. You know, my name is Mr. Jones. Don't call me Chuck. Like Chuck. So I just wanted to put those out there. Like I said, I was just brainstorming some stuff, and I was just like, you know, you talk to some older guys, and you just can hear as they're in their, you know, they're getting up there in age and stuff. They start talking about, you know, their legacy. I'm really on legacy right now. Mm-hmm. Their legacy and their mortality, and you can just hear that their conversation about things is changing. So it's like, but you don't hear them talking about getting booty. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So those things just kind of change, I feel like, in my opinion, as you get older. And I think we did get we got time for this one question because it's almost been an hour already.
Okay. And so we got Bob Smith. He says, what do you do when you feel alone and without someone you can confide in with your spouse? I'm trying to understand the question, Bob Smith. You said, what do you do when you feel alone and without someone you can confide in with your spouse? Are you saying that you feel like you have a spouse, but you don't feel like you can confide in your spouse?
Or that you want a spouse that you can confide in? I'm kind of trying to understand.
Yeah, we want to make sure that we understand the question, Bob Smith. And thank you for that question, by the way. And then Doc says that Courtney's topic is so meaty, so many dimensions. Absolutely. But there are and Bob, yes, exactly. I have one. So Bob, you're saying that you don't feel like you can, are you feeling like maybe you can't confide in your spouse? So I think he says yes, exactly. They said yes, exactly. I have one. So they don't. What do you do when you feel like you're alone and you can't confide in your spouse?
I think that starts with a conversation with your spouse about why you feel like you're alone in your relationship. That'd be the first thing I'd say. There's a reason or some things that have gone on within your relationship that you feel as though you can't confide in them. They may have let you down, or when you tried to confide in them, they made you feel alone or made you feel alienated. Mm-hmm. Or there could be some things from your past that you're dealing with that have made it hard for your spouse to feel as though conversing with you is something that's hard for them to do. Mm-hmm. So the first thing I would say that you do is have a conversation with them. Tell them what you're feeling about why you don't feel like you can communicate with them or that you feel alone. Mm-hmm. It all starts with a conversation. Once that happens, and then once you ask that question, you have to be emotionally mature enough to hear the answer for what she's about to say to you. Because in her feeling, you feeling alone, there might be something that she's feeling that she's not getting from you, and thus makes you feel a certain way. So I would just say have a conversation first. See how that goes. Tell her what you're feeling. Because one thing about it, when you're talking to most women and you ask them something or you say something to them, they will tell you what's going on or why they feel that way.
Right, right. So, and I was just, yes, exactly. I have one. Okay. I said I did that.
Mhm.
And then Mika says, great show and and information. Hey Mika, thank you. Thank you so much.
And we have reached an hour, so we're gonna have to cut it off. My pleasure, Vibe. If you want to reach out to us, you can email us at marriagesreal@gmail.com if you have any other questions, or DM us or message us on Facebook under Marriage is Real. We hate to go, y'all, but it's been an hour and we want to be respectful to the next show coming on after us. So thank you for tuning in.
Thank you
We
guys.
love
so
y'all.
much.
We'll see y'all next Tuesday, 8:30 p.m. Central Time for another Marriage Monday on Tuesday. Love y'all. Y'all have a good night.
Swap on the track right here.